Let me know if it's working. I don't know if it is or not. I've tried a couple of times. Oh, I think it is working. Yay, I think it's working. I couldn't go on Facebook, so somebody go on Facebook and let everybody know I had some technical difficulties and link this video to them so they can go to YouTube to watch it. But so I am live, and this is my first ever live. So welcome to Drive with John Live. Never been here before. I appreciate anybody that's coming in. I'm going to give a couple of minutes for people to show up. It looks like right now I got goose egg, so maybe maybe no one's going to come. I don't know. We will see in a couple of minutes here. If anybody does join me, I did end up going a little bit late, so that could be on me. If you guys have any comments, put it in the comments. And I got my wife and my daughter helping me. Hand pink waving. Oh, hi. Hand pink waving.
That's what it says.
It says here.
It's an emoji.
Just give me 1 second. Oh, there's two people watching, so there's somebody else there too. Give me 1 second. All right. So I don't know who the other person is, but how you doing? I know who the hand pink waving person is. So this is my first ever live. I got a couple different topics I wanted to talk about. If y'all have any questions, feel free to just throw them out there because, you guys are going to guide this conversation. So if you have any questions, just throw them out there. First thing I want to talk about was, what am I doing now kind of thing. I had some trouble. Oh, how you doing, old hick?
So next time you're late, driver, you lose your door.
Yeah. Yeah, next time I'm late, I lose my door and they make me wait 5 or 6 hours before I can get unloaded or loaded. Ah, well, where am I now? I'm basically, I started doing the company driver thing to save up money to get my Mac rolling again. And I don't know if this scrolls or not. Sorry, guys, it's my first ever live, so it's going to be very, very me not knowing how to do anything yet. But, so I'm not quite sure how long that's going to take, but I'm going to do the company driving thing as long as it takes to make some money to get my Mac rolling again and to see what it's. Sorry, I'm trying to look to see comments and also see on the screen too. Um, Once I do get that up and rolling again, I'll go back to owner operator. But right now, I'm just running the company guy. Um, if you're watching this on a repeat, I'll probably end up repeating this again. But I don't really talk about where I work or how much I make, but everything else is pretty much on the table right now. I'm hauling reefer freight, which is where I was about a year ago for probably a good 4 years before that. So I'm very familiar with reefer freight. Old Dick, what do you haul? Do you do reefer freight? Do you do drive-in, cattle hauler, car hauler? Who knows? Um, Let me know. Just put it in the comment section. Let me know what you do. So yeah, the reason why I'm late, it's actually kind of comical. I've never done this before, and I'm trying to use StreamYard. And I was trying to stream YouTube and Facebook at the same time, but apparently it didn't. The neglected to tell me I had to upgrade my account before I could do that, and it didn't tell me until seconds before I was on. So I shot a whole video thinking I was live, and didn't realize I wasn't. So that's where I am now.
Oh, and it says flatbed and tanker.
Oh, you haul flatbed and tanker. Oh, all right. You owner op or are you company guy? Um, Yeah, so I made a whole nother video with nobody there trying to figure out how this thing works. It's my first ever StreamYard live stream, any kind of live stream. So, um,
Retired after 32 years.
wow, retired, huh? Well, congratulations, driver. We all want to get there. We all wish we could be there. Some days are better than others, especially right now. The market's not so great. So, but as a company driver, it's kind of like I got to suck up my pride because this light is really bad. I rigged up something to see if in case the light got too bad because it's gonna get dark. I am sitting outside, so that's bright. So yeah, that works. I guess it's a light on situation. Um, what was I saying? I retired after 22 years. I already read that one. So I forget what I was saying. This light blinded me and my brain went boop, gone. So we all wish we could be there. Oh, the taking a step backwards being a company driver. The biggest thing is that I I got used to scheduling my own loads, and I'd schedule myself out like a week or two, and I had everything set up the way I wanted to set up to run the way I wanted to run. And now as a company guy, I'm losing all of those options. It's quite a struggle for me because they don't find a load until I'm empty, and it's very frustrating. That I guess the owner of this company has been messed over by a couple of guys, so he doesn't trust that people are going to run when they say they're going to run. So hey, we'll take my brother and the U.S.
U.S. military taught me
drive big
to
trucks.
drive big trucks.
Yeah, sounds like a good brother and a good Uncle Sam. At least I'm sure when you were there, it was a good Uncle Sam. um, yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait until the day I can say I'm retired. But I probably will never stop driving either way. So, and you owned your trucks, huh? Oh, my pops trucks. Nice. That's really cool. So you come from a family of truck drivers. See, I'm a first generation. My dad actually did in the military. He drove some, and when he got out of the military, he did some mechanic work, but he never drove over the road or anything like I do now. Um, and he's passed away now, so I can't. I always wonder what he would think of it, me being out there driving, but I enjoy doing it. So, but yeah, going to company driving was hard for me. That step, I want to say step backwards, but it's not really backwards. It's kind of a lateral move, but it's hard for me because I used to control everything and pick what loads, where I was going, what times. I would book myself, a week in advance, so I never had to worry about, oh, what am I going to do? And now I got somebody else, I got a dispatcher that basically picks my load after I'm sending the thing saying I'm empty. So I got to sit for an hour or two until they find a load, and then so it's a whole pain. But these are the hoops that we're going to jump through to get our money made so that we can get the whole Mac running again. I see I got 4 people in here, so say something in the comment section. Say hello. If you have a question, ask it. It's my first ever live. Like I said before, I don't really talk about how much money I make or who I work for, but outside of that, I'll pretty much talk about anything. So, um, I know Old Hick. I've seen you on I think DIY Semi channel, and maybe even Scott's. I'm not sure. Sorry, F8. I'm not sure. So, um, but I know both of those guys are good people. So, they have they both have tons more experience than I do. I'm never going to claim to be super knowledgeable about any of this. I didn't have a big brother or the military teach me that. Unfortunately, they taught me other things, but didn't have a big brother. So, um, all right, it's kind of distracting because I'm trying to keep an eye on the comments and also keep an eye on how many people are watching. And I can't see the thumbs up, but go out there and hit that if you're in there. Old Hick, how did you hear about my live tonight? Was that because you're a subscriber, or right? So what? So what actually happened to the Mac? Okay, I made a long form video about it, but I'll tell you, it's I blew a DPF filter seal because it backed up, and I thought that was the problem. So I went out and got the DPF filter and the housing unit and all the sensors, and I had to wait a month for them to come in, and I went and I replaced the whole thing and started it up, and it was running worse than ever, blowing black soot like crazy. Come to find out, it wasn't the DPF issue. That the DPF was the symptom, not the problem. The problem was actually my turbo and my injectors. So eventually got it towed to a dealer, and you know how expensive dealers are. A turbo and injectors, roughly 15 grand. So after a rough year this year, there's no way I could swing that. So I had to take a step back, going to company driving. But my Mac, she's sick right now, but she'll be up and running I'll get it running again and out there running with the Mac. I miss my Mac because now I'm in a Freightliner, and nothing against Freightliners. I know some of you guys really love those things, and it's I see the luxury in it. I do really do because my Mac didn't have a lot of the stuff this has in it, but it doesn't feel like a Mac. That's all I can say. It doesn't feel like a Mac. So, uh, did you go on Facebook and let them know that I couldn't get on Facebook? Oh, can you find this link and post it on Facebook? Let people know to come to YouTube to find me live. So, sorry, I got my wife and my daughter helping me with comments because I thought I was doing.
Says I got a notification. I am a proud subscriber.
Ah, proud subscriber. You must be very bored. I'm just picking on you. I know. Sometimes my long form videos can be kind of dry and boring. I try to do the best I can with them. I like doing the shorts because they're comical and fun. So, and I not, I can go to a spectrum of things, from anywhere and everywhere. So, old Hick. Now it's funny you're calling yourself a Hick. I'm wondering, are you from the Northeast? Because my original, grounds when I was a kid was from the Northeast, and Hick is one of those terms that was very common up there out in the country. So I consider myself a Hick sometimes. Sometimes I consider myself a redneck. Just depends on what day it is. So, but yeah, so that was the story with the Mac. She's down for a while, but not out, and so we're gonna. Right now, she's actually sitting 600 miles from where I live. I'm waiting to get it towed down here so that I can get to work on it. I'm probably going to end up doing the repairs myself, which is crazy. Anybody that does know me, that's ever been around me, knows I'm not mechanically inclined. So, I'm a West Coaster. Oh, okay. You're from the West Coast. All right. I didn't know that term was actually used on the West Coast. I've been over there a lot, but I don't really know anybody that lives over there. So, but yeah, I'm going to probably end up doing the repairs myself. So it is, it is what it is type of thing. I'm going to kind of probably use a lot of YouTube and a friend of mine that's a mechanic, and a lot of phone calls, and probably some bloody knuckles, some blood, some tears, probably a couple bad words, but I'll get it done. So, I see I got 4 people in here. Spent 11 years in Alaska. Did you ever do the ice road thing? Because recently I started watching the ice road truckers. Those guys, I got some respect for them. That takes some guts to do what they do up there. 11 years in Alaska. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I bet you never got worried about bad roads, snow and ice and all of that. Never got worried about any of that. But yeah, have you ever done ice road trucking? Because that would be really awesome to hear more about that. Definitely. So, I just want to warn you, if you hear noises in the background, I have chickens over this way, a little ways, and my wife and my daughter's over this way, trying to help me out with comments and the platforms. So, if you hear any noises, that's probably what it is. So, could also be my son that's inside. But so, all right. So, Alaska. I'm sorry, I just keep going back to that. That my wife and I about a month ago, we were just checking out channels, and ice road trucking was on, and we were watching as they were pulling like an excavator like across. I've driven on the Arctic Ocean. All right, you're just too cool for me. I'm telling you right now, that is just too cool. They were. That's insane. I bet you got stories like crazy. Do you have a YouTube channel? Because if you do, I need to go watch that. That would be awesome to hear the stories of driving on the Arctic Ocean. Man, they were hauling this excavator, and it was like 110,000 pounds, and they're hauling it across a frozen lake. And to someone in the lower 48, that sounds crazy. I don't know. Maybe up there it sounds normal. Maybe it's frozen all the way down. I doubt it. But it just sounded crazy. And as they were driving, you could literally see the ice doing that. So it was kind of intense to watch. And I just couldn't imagine driving down the highway, knowing I could fall through the highway at any moment and die, and the highway be moving. That would be awesome. You don't have a channel, huh? Well, maybe sometime I'll bring you on this one and let you talk about your experience, because That would be awesome. I'd love to hear about driving on the Arctic Ocean, driving in Alaska. I mean, you probably have stories from the lower 48 that I haven't done, but I've done every state in the lower 48 but one, so almost there. But I do appreciate you watching. I have another friend, not a friend, but it was Frontier Trucking. Frontier Trucking. Huh. Is that different than ice road trucking? It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you were on ice road across Arctic Ocean. But I'm not a friend. I have another subscriber that watches that does cattle hauling, and I'm surprised he's actually not in here. He watches everything and comments on everything, but he's got stories too. Stories like crazy. It was Frontier Trucking. So, in Frontier Trucking, are you blazing new? Like, are you on roads that trucks don't normally go on? Are you? Or what does that mean exactly? Again, you have more experience than I do, so. But yeah. So let's get back to the conversation at hand. You got me all sidetracked there. That's got excited because that show is very intense. Most people watch it probably for entertainment, but for me, it's kind of stressful to watch because I couldn't imagine being in that seat. So, you ever worry about like going through the ice when you're driving across it? That would scare the bejeebers out of me. I think I'd have to bring a new pair of underwear with me everywhere I go. But yeah, that's insane. The Mac, going back to the Mac. When I do get it repaired, I'll definitely let everybody know what's going on as I'm doing it. I'll probably make videos of me repairing it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it, but I might. It's a lot cheaper that way. You know, cut the bill in half and be about $6-7 grand instead of 15 grand. So, and you know, making company money is nothing like making owner-op money, especially in the good days. Because back in a couple of years ago, it was definitely the good days. So. You see, I've been live. I've never done this before. I've been live for 17 minutes. I have 4 people watching. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I don't know how to tell how many likes I have or any of that, but that's kind of cool. What else can I see on here? Frontier Trucking. I can see the comments over here. I can invite somebody. If you want to come on, old Hick, I'd bring you on. You have an email or something? I don't know how to do it, but I think I would email it to you. If you want to send me your email, I'll try to send you a link. Maybe you could come on and talk to me if you want to. If you don't want to, I understand. So, what else can I do? I don't know. I'm not the most technically savvy person in the world. The rules were different, and this was in the late 70s and early 80s. And Alaska had lots of stuff to build. Yeah, I'm sure. They probably still do. I mean, they're all over the place. I think somebody just did a regular comment on this video. Did somebody just do a regular comment on this video? Because I just got a notification. If you're on the regular comments, go to the live comments and click on that, and you can talk to me directly on the feed here. There might have also been commenting on one of my shorts. I put a bunch of shorts out today. So, but yeah, that's the early 70s and 80s. So that's like the big days of trucking. No e-logs, no def, just hammer lane and get it done. Not like it is now. You turn right, they're asking you 15 questions why you just turned right. But it's funny. I sound like I don't enjoy my job, but I love driving a truck. I'll tell you what, there is so much about driving a truck I love. I was just telling somebody this the other day. When I drive a truck, most people, when they drive, they get stressed out, they get tense. They're like, It's exact opposite for me. When I was a kid and I started driving, that's how I relaxed, is by driving. So I don't mean relaxed like fall asleep relaxed, but just relaxed like if I'm stressed out. So when I'm driving, that's when I'm at my most relaxed moment. That's when my mind works best. That's when I think the clearest. Everything makes more sense when I'm driving. If I get upset, even when I'm at home, if I get upset, if I go out for a spin, I can calm down in just a couple of minutes, and it just clears my brain. A lot of people aren't like that. My kids, I train them how to drive, and they get all scared, but not me. I relax. Yeah, Old Hicks says OSHA was not a factor, and the police wanted to help you rather than ticket you. That is different. Both of those are very different. Yeah, OSHA has its place, but yeah, I get what you're saying there. Not all police are that way though. I've met a few on the road, um, DOT officers and regular police officers that have been extremely nice and supportive. So I don't like to paint with such a broad brush, but there are some guys out there, DOT guys especially, that just I think it's their happy places to make us not happy. But yeah, that is what it is. It's part of the job, I guess. But sorry, I'm trying to make sure I. Okay. Yeah, that would be definitely a different world. OSHA, no OSHA, and the cops are trying to help you. Sometimes you know what? I really wish I actually had a friend that was a cop, like driving through Atlanta. Just get me through that town, please. I mean, get through that town without any holdups. Never happens. It'd be nice if I can click on the lights and take me through. That'd be awesome. So I did yeah, 21 minutes. All right, and so you see, I was talking about the Mac, and then I talked about the other thing. I only really had one more subject matter to talk about. I'm trying to remember if I hit everything. I figured that people would have some more questions. Do you have any questions, Old Hick? Anything you want to know? Anything you want to say? Anything I can talk about? I mean, I don't know if you watch my shorts or my longs. I don't know what you watch, but you said you're a loyal subscriber, and I love that. Thank you. But my shorts, I just have fun with those things. It's funny, the comments people get on there and they get all upset about a joke. It's a joke. People take life too seriously. That's one thing you'll notice about my shorts is I like to have a lot of fun. So long form videos, like I said, they're a little more dry. I'm trying to pep them up and do more informative and fun, but it is what it is. It's not as easy as making a 5-second clip sound funny when you got to be funny for 20 minutes. It's a lot harder. So, all right, somebody else is in here. Hey, if you're in the live, just go ahead and send a comment. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you want answered, now's your time. Also, don't talk about how much money I make or where I work, but anything else is pretty much on the board. So, if you see me talking to anybody, it's because my wife and my daughter are off to my left here. Well, to you, it probably looks like the right, but this side, and they're reading comments and trying to do what they can do to help me out. So, a good sense of humor is the key to life. 1,000% on that one, Old Dick. Definitely. You gotta laugh and have some fun. Even in the hardest times of life, if you don't find a moment to laugh, you're just gonna go stir crazy. So that's my thing. I like to have fun. DIY semis out there, very knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about. Good channel. If you haven't watched him, go watch him. He's very knowledgeable. He can be very funny too. And then you got F8's out there and Cash King Trucking. They're all great channels, and they all have their own niches. And my niche, honestly, I just like to go around and have some fun. I try to teach what I can teach, but mine's more about having fun. So, but yeah, I think a lot of people think that way, Old Hick, that good sense of humor is the key to life, because it really is. Otherwise, you get old, miserable, and bitter. No one likes that. So. Sorry. I didn't know if someone was drawing messages in the sand to me or what. So the other thing I was going to talk about, I talked about my Mac and where I'm working now, and some of the frustrations about where I'm working now. Again, as a company driver, I got so used to, as an owner operator, being able to just pick where I go, when I go there, how far out I'm booked. I didn't have to answer to really anybody other than make sure my load was delivered on time, make sure the broker knew where I was and what I was up to, and if there's a problem, and then, I was good. But now I got I got the owner of the company and the dispatcher, and they're all like, they won't dispatch me until I'm ready to roll, which is, they wait until I'm unloaded, and then they start looking for another load. It just seems cumbersome to me, and it doesn't make sense. As an owner operator, I would have never done that to myself, so it drives me crazy. So, I would love to talk with you, but my tech skills are zero, so not sure how to make it happen. Well, that makes two of us. So 0 and 0 equals 0. Basically, if you have an email, you could send me an email, or not send me an email. You could tell me what your email is, and I could send you a link to join. It's all I really know. And I don't even know what that would look like on here, but I'd be willing to do it if you are. So I think it'd be entertaining anyway. If you want to try it. If you don't, hey, I understand. I definitely think that would be entertaining. But yeah, so I'm not getting over the frustrations being a company driver. I'm dealing with learning how to be a company driver again, because after, like I said, being able to make sure that I stayed busy, to make sure that I was rolling when I needed to be rolling, and to make sure I was doing everything I needed to be doing, I don't have that control anymore. Now I depend on everybody else to make sure those things are working. So let me try something out here. I see another, what's it say? It says banners. I don't know. Oh, I can do a banner. Huh. All right. I can do different themes on here. Oh, that just changes my name. Okay. That's cool. Sorry. I'm not very tech savvy either. I'm learning how to do this stuff on the fly, as you can see. So I had a friend of mine that has a YouTube channel. Actually, I have a few friends that have YouTube channels. But he said he was going to talk me through this and help me, but I don't see him on here commenting and helping me out at all. So guess he's probably out there driving right now, so he wasn't able to. So but yeah, that the company thing has been very frustrating. Old Hick, were you? I think you told me back here that you drove your pops on the truck. I think that's what you said. Yeah, I think that's what you said. Um, I mean, did you dispatch yourself, or did you guys have contract freight? How did that work? Because the guy I'm working through now, the company guy, I think does almost exclusively is working off the boards, which is crazy to me. Because if you don't have connections, you're never ever gonna keep moving. There's gonna be days you're gonna be down because the loads just aren't there in that area. So, um, but I don't know. I'm not trying to talk bad about him. He drove for a lot of years and he knows what he's doing. In his mind, that's the way you run it. And I'm just a driver. I don't make those decisions. So, hey, I'm not going to try to step on any toes here. I'm not. But I do miss being an owner operator and having that kind of ability to know what's coming next. Easier to trip plan. Also, um, there's a wise YouTube trucker who that that has a channel that taught me about you got a pre-trip, not pre-trip. Obviously, you got pre-trip, pre-plan your trips. So you got to look, Google Earth. You got to look at the atlas. You got to know what roads are good, what roads aren't. I just don't have that ability with these people. They give me a load at the last second, and I just have to go because otherwise I'm going to be late. And so I have to figure this out as I go. So, all right. All right, I hope I'm not boring you guys to death. All four of you, like, yeah, Trevor John's on, but he's so boring. I don't mean to be boring. I'm just right now. Actually, I just feel like I'm doing nothing but complaining about being a company driver. Hey, it has its place. I started as a company driver, and for a few years, that was awesome. I was learning the industry, and I was learning how things work, and that's just how it is. But now it's like I don't get those that I don't need to learn how it works. I already know how it works, and when things don't happen the way I think they should happen, I know why they're not happening that way, which is kind of a curse because it upsets me because I know when I was brand new, I had no idea. I had no idea what I was doing. So, yeah, I got another comment. It says we worked through a broker. Later, I went to work for a great company. I finished out as of all things the safety and training director. Oh, that's kind of cool. I actually made a safety video recently. It didn't go over very well, but I'm definitely big on the safety thing. Defensive driving is my thing. I don't like to put myself in danger. So, and that's like I always any new drivers. The first thing I tell them is defensive driving is your best friend. Stay away from trouble. Stay away from people. And that's the best way to be, even no matter how much experience you have. So, but what?
Same as it's scary to ride with people.
Yeah. Well, he didn't ride with people. He was a safety and training director. He was in an office, probably come up with training material and that kind of stuff. Do you guys still adjust your own brakes? No, not that I couldn't, but we usually have truck stops or mechanics, whatever, do those kinds of things. I can, and if I had to, I would, but most guys don't. Most guys don't even carry the little kits that tell you if it's out of adjustment or not, or they don't even know how to test if it's out of adjustment. I don't know what they do, but I was never trained when I was brand new how to do any of those things. I taught myself how to do all of it. My training was very suspect at best. I mean, passed my CDL school and then went out with a trainer for about 2 weeks with that company. Then me and that company had a divorce. And then I went to another company, which is like a big carrier. Spent a few years with them, and that's pretty much where I taught myself. I taught myself, about the brakes. I taught myself even simple things on like how to move your tandems. They went over that like for 1 hour, I think, in my training, but we never actually got to do it. So it was nice to actually learn how to do that stuff on my own. Little funny joke, and if he's on here, that's probably gonna pick on me forever. But when I went to work at one of the carriers I recently worked for, he says, go ahead and pull the pin so we can drop this trailer. I put down the landing gear and unhooked everything, went to pull the pin, and I had just come from a company job, and I had never actually pulled a pin on a fifth wheel. I'd always had air release in the cab. So when he said pull the pin, I knew the cab didn't have an air release, so I had to pull a pin somewhere. So it took me probably 5 minutes to figure out what pin to pull and how to pull it. I know that sounds stupid. They don't teach you that in CDL school anymore, but I figured it out on my own, along with how to back into spots and a lot of things. I do things differently than a lot of drivers do because I did teach myself. So as a safety director, I'm sure you're cringing right now hearing all of this because I'm telling you the standards these days are probably nowhere near where they were back then. So, yeah. But yeah, I pretty much I tell everybody I got my CDL. They taught me how to hold a steering wheel, how to use a clutch, which isn't even always common anymore, but how to use a clutch and when to stop and when not to stop, and that's about it. Basically they taught me how to pass the CDL test. If it's not on the CDL test, they didn't teach me. I had to learn everything else on my own. My training consists of 2 weeks at one company and then about 5 days at the next company, and those 5 days were spent with him sleeping and me driving. So, yeah, taught myself pretty much. Self-taught. So, but no different than the old days. I mean, many years ago, I've talked to a couple of guys from way back, and a lot of those literally jumped in a truck and learned how to do everything on their own. And, they're still trucking today. So some of them are retired like you, old Hick, but some of them are still out there and they love to tell me their stories and I like to hear them. So, let's see. I think I bored a couple people to death and they left. So but I appreciate everybody that's watching. If you want to throw a comment in the section, comment in the comment section. Let me know that you're here. If you have any questions, comments, if you want to tell me hey, my guts, go ahead. I'm all right with that. So if you just give me a thumbs up. So, all right, we've been live for 35 minutes, and I've probably talked about everything I could think to talk about. Old Hick, do you have anything else you want to know about? I mean, I'm open to answering just about anything. So if you have anything you want to ask me, I'll give you a minute to comment on there. I know I had another friend that was supposed to come on here. You want a short story? Sure, I'll give you all the time in the world you want. Go ahead, give me a short story. I'm eagerly awaiting that short story because I'm sure you have many, many, many of them. So while you're talking about that, or while you're typing that up, I had a buddy of mine that was supposed to be in here that actually got me into truck driving. Yeah, his story is totally different than mine when it comes to truck driving because he went to school, he had got his CDL in like 3 days. I don't know how long they trained him on the road, but he got his CDL in 3 or 4 days. It was crazy, like nothing I've ever heard of. So, real quick, I'm going to also, when you're watching on replay and if you're on here now, I want to tell you about a couple of channels that I always promote the trucking channels, but I'm going to talk about a couple channels that aren't trucking channels that I really like. So if you haven't checked them out yet, go check out Mr. Top 20. He might be in here. I don't know if he is or not. Love his videos. He's just fun to watch. He likes compiling lists of a spectrum of things and putting it in a category, like he's a statistics guy. So he likes to put it in like, who's doing what and how. So pick me up. All right, pick you up. Okay, so I don't know what that's all about. Hey, Living Homestead, welcome to the channel. Hope you're enjoying the live stream. No idea what pick me up means, but but I appreciate you watching. You want me to pick up the phone? Is that what you want? Pick me. Okay, I picked you. Now what? You're it. So I forget what I was saying. Oh, he learned very quickly, and no, wrong story. He drives for a big company, and he only got like 3 days training, and he was out. Bang. So not pick me up to mention. I think I know what you mean. All right, yeah, no problem. So yeah, yeah, his channel is pretty awesome. So go check out Mr. Top 20. That's one I'm going to tell you. The other one I'm going to tell you about, if you like storytelling, which I'm a big storytelling guy. I love hearing little trucking stories, horror stories, crazy things that happen. I love hearing stories. That's kind of one of my things. So Mr. Ballin, which you'll never watch one of my videos, Mr. Huge Channel Ballin, he's got some really good videos. So go check him out too. But for trucking channels, my favorites are DIY Semi, F8 Trucking, which is really good. I like that guy. I actually know him. So to be completely honest, I actually talk to him on the phone quite often. He's a good guy. So is DIY Semi and Catches King Trucking. I don't know him. He knows them, but I don't know him, so it's like a friend of a friend. But his channel's pretty good too, especially if you like the whole trucker angle of it all. And then I'll introduce you to Living Homesteadish. Living Homesteadish has 0 videos right now, but they're going to be start making videos soon. And the whole joke about pick me up, pick me. If you're reading the comments, you see what I mean. They want me to mention them. So Living Homes Fetish is a great channel. It's going to be a great channel. It's not a great channel yet. They're going to talk about soaps because they make really great soaps. They're going to talk about candles because they make really great candles. And they're going to talk about chickens because they have chickens. So, inside secret. You'll only know this on this live. Otherwise, it's going to be a big secret. It's my wife and my daughter. So, check out their channel when they come out with new videos. So, it'll be happening soon. I know they're working on some stuff right now. So, Living Homes Fetish. And if you ever, I'll tell you what, their soaps and their candles, their soaps. I've actually put this in videos before. It's my favorite soap, not because my wife and my daughter make it. If Bob down the street made it and it was this good, I'm telling you what, I'd go on YouTube and scream about how great it was. It is the best soap I've ever used. When I went and changed my DPF unit, you guys remember that, right? You guys remember I made the video about changing my DPF unit out, and I tell you, I was covered when I got home that day, covered head to toe, black grease, dirt crawling on the ground in the truck stop, just disgusting. And I don't remember which scent it was I used, but I used their soap, and literally it was like using that gritty hand soap like you get in the bathrooms. It cleans your hands really well. Only over my whole body. It just one time and I was clean. It was gone. It wiped it right off. I was just way impressed. I'm not guaranteeing you the same results, but that's what I get. So then again, I get the personal touch because I kind of know them personally. So yeah, that should be putting out a video very soon. And when they do, make sure you subscribe and watch their channel because yeah, it's a good channel. It's going to be a good channel. So there you go. Woo-hoo. All right, old Hick, you said you promised me a short story, so I'm waiting for your short story to pop up. Must be not so short story. That's why I'm still talking because I want to hear your short story. So I see that there's like 5 people in here now. Hey guys, if you want to say something, pop into the comment section. Just say hello. If you have any questions, comments, you want to tell me how much you hate me, go ahead. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And this is your time to ask. The only thing I won't answer is who I work for or how much I make. I don't talk about that stuff on YouTube. That's private information. But and also where exactly I live, you'll never know. So if you have any other questions outside of that, feel free to ask. I'll answer them. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like I said. So we did talk about if you're coming in late, we did talk about my Mac. We talked about me being a company driver. Talked a lot about old Hick, and I'm waiting for his short story because I'm kind of excited to hear about it. Dude drove on the Arctic Ocean. Do you need to hear any more than that? You're probably anticipating as much as I am. I got to hear this story, and someday I'm going to figure out how to add him into this and add him into a live because I'm going to get him on here. I guarantee he has some good stories. So we talked about that, talked about YouTube channels I like, trucking and non-trucking. So if you missed any of that, you can come back and watch it on the replay, and I would appreciate it. So there's one more thing I wanted to talk about while I'm waiting for old Hick to get back to me here. Unless he's just playing a joke on me, I'm going to just sit here talking for the next hour, waiting for him to come back, and there's no story. I don't know. That could happen. So there is one other thing. Where was I going with that? My joke actually made me forget what I was talking about. So I feel like this is just a chaotically, totally messed up live stream where this guy just rambles on and on about nothing and people are watching God knows why. Old Hick, I moved to Alaska and I left the Army. Or no, when I left the Army, sorry. I can't read either, guys. If you haven't figured that out, I can't read. So bear with me. I thought I knew all about big trucks. And as Ron White says, I was wrong. More to come. I am slow. Yeah? Hey, take your time. I ain't got nowhere else to go. So Don't worry. As you saw, I can run my mouth like a professional about absolutely nothing. Yeah. But this sounds like it's going to be an interesting story. So you moved to Alaska after you left the Army. By the way, Army, that's right. Sorry for all you Navy, Air Force, and Marines out there, but kind of an Army guy. So many generations Army guy. So, but we're going to wait for Old Hick to come back to the rest of the story. So, what was I going to tell you? What was I going to say about? I said I have one more thing I wanted to talk about. Well, Old Hick was coming up with a story, but I don't remember what it was now. It's a good question. So, anybody else out there have any questions, comments, answers? Tell me why I'm sitting here on the live talking to myself. If so, that'd be awesome if you come on here and say something to me. So I was figuring out earlier, down in the bottom and where it says Driving with John Live, I didn't know I could actually edit that. So that's kind of funny. But so I can change it and say whatever I want to say. I can change my themes. Like which one looks better? There's a bubble theme. There's a classic theme. There's a block theme, which kind of looks just like the classic. That's a little different. And then the minimal screen. I picked minimal, but that's kind of neat. Show and display your names, so I can actually get rid of that. Oh yeah, look at that. We're all waiting for Old Hick to finish his story. Now I'm just playing with my phone.
He said there's a limit on how many words they will let you send.
Yeah.
For his story.
There's a limit on how many words they will let you send. Yeah, at one time you can only send a certain amount, I think. So just chop it down into 2 or 3 sentences at a time. Oh yeah, thank you for your service. Sorry, that was so wrong of me. Thank you for your service, Old Hick. I do appreciate you serving our country. And who is this? Oh my goodness, Mr. DIY Semi just showed up. I just woke up. What did I miss? Well, it's my first live, so probably nothing. I did mention you a couple of times, though. At this point, we've been going for about 47 minutes, and Old Hick is telling me a story about something that happened up in Alaska to him, and I'm waiting for it to come across. But it'll only let him send so much. So how you doing, DIY? You have any questions, comments? You want to tell me how much you hate me? And feel free. I hope everything's doing well with you, and the weather's probably wonderful where you are. I'm sitting outside. Don't be jealous. So I was telling them earlier, DIY, if you don't want to go back and watch the replay, I will tell you, as I'm waiting to get my Mac fixed, I went and got a company gig to save up some money so that I could get my Mac back up and going again. Sorry, I will share the next one. Oh, no problem. No problem. Yeah, I was telling them that I felt like I took a step backwards because when you're an owner-op, especially where I was, I could assign myself my own loads, pick my own loads, schedule myself a week or two in advance, all of that. But as a company guy, I'm really struggling dealing with the way that they do things because they don't get a load for me until I'm empty, and it just drives me nuts because I'm wasting so much time sitting around waiting for them to find me a load. So that was one of the things that you missed. So if you want to hear more about it, you can watch the replay. You're not, you're just DIY Semi, that's all. So you want to come in and talk, you're welcome to, DIY. It's like a disaster live stream. I may be biased, but Driving with John is super cool guy. Okay. Yeah. I think I have a stalker, and we're a little worried about that comment. So probably should have pre-read it before I read it out loud. So I actually know who that is, but I'm not going to tell you who they are. So, okay. Now people are just messing with me with the comments because I'm not pre-reading them. So that's another thing I'm learning about doing live streams. You probably should pre-read the comments before you say them out loud. So. So, old heck, I'm still waiting for the rest of that. Like I said, just type in a sentence or two and hit send, and I'll try to tie it together to make it the story that you want. Here he goes. When I was boarded,
When I boarded the chartered 7:30.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble seeing it, guys, so give me a minute here. When I boarded the chartered 737 in Anchorage to fly to, oh geez, F8 here. Hi, F8. Anchorage to fly to, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Prudhoe Bay. That's the best I can do, guys. Sorry. The oil companies fly twice a day back and forth for their employees. All right. So now he's setting it up. The story that he's going to tell us. He's setting it up. He's flying into Anchorage, and the oil companies fly in and out twice a day for their employees. So how you doing, F8? I was talking to DIY. I've been live for 51 minutes, so it's a lot of me rambling and talking about the Mac, talking about the whole weirdness of being a company guy compared to owner op. It's definitely strange. So, any questions, comments, anything you want to say, feel free to put it on there. Figuring this out on my own, pretty much. F8, you were supposed to help me out with that, but it's okay. I think I figured out most of it so far. I could bring somebody in if somebody wants to come in. I think I figured out how to do that. So if you want to do that, we can do that. Not sure how that would work for me being able to hear you, but I don't know how that works. So hey, F8, if you want to come in, or DIY, or Old Hick, or Old Hick already said he's not really tech savvy, so he's telling us the story through the chat there. Yeah, so that's, I talked about all that kind of stuff. I kind of pumped up your channels, even though all 4.5 people probably heard that part, because it's my first ever live, so at least I'm not spending it by myself. You know what I mean? It's kind of awkward. But I talk about the company driver versus owner op. Who's DIY? You should check out his channel. I heard he likes picking on this guy, Mac and Cheese, or I forget what they call him. But you should check out his channel. DIY Semi is his channel, and he likes picking on this guy from Minnesota. It's kind of funny, actually. The guy in Minnesota just doesn't seem to have a word in the game. Don't you know? You want some soda pop? All right. I gotta mess with you. This is my opportunity. I get to talk. You're working. Well, if you're working, then stop typing and just listen. All right. But I'll mess with you anyway, because now that I know you're working and you can't fight back, that even makes it better. Hey, DIY, anything you want to pick on F8 about, I'm out here. He's working. He can only listen now. So, hope the sound is good, by the way. I really haven't asked, but I think everybody can hear me fine. It was 25 degrees in Anchorage. That's actually warm for Anchorage, I think. Sounds warm anyway, because it's not for me, but for Anchorage. When I got off the plane, and he had to put that in there again. Okay, the Prudhoe Bay. I'm just making this up as I go, guys. So I don't know how to pronounce that. It was 32 below. I thought he said it was 25 degrees. 32 below. Oh, when he left Anchorage, it was 25 degrees. When he landed in that bay, I'll just say the bay, it was 32 below with a 20-mile-per-hour wind. Woo-hoo. It's a little cold. So, all right, now we're going to wait for the rest of the story. So, for anybody that just jumped in, yeah, Old Hick's telling me a story about, he used to work up in Alaska. He's retired now, but he used to work up in Alaska, and he's telling me a short story about something that happened to him up there. Because I asked him to tell me any stories. I'd love to bring him on this channel and talk to him, because to me, listening to that, someone that has that kind of experience would be so interesting. But I do appreciate you coming in. I do appreciate you coming in, F8. You should focus on the road and just listen, all right? Do company drivers ever drive? Yes. Do company drivers ever drive? That's a good question. I'll tell you what. Another frustrating thing, when you're an owner op and your truck breaks down, you're responsible to make sure you get it fixed, to make sure it's in a timely manner, that you go to a place that you know is going to do the job. When you're a company driver, you don't hear chickens because they're sleeping at 8. Just drive. You don't have those. You don't have those abilities to do all of that. So, long story short, as a company driver, my truck had an oil leak. So they brought me back to Florida to fix the oil leak, which I don't understand, but they did what they did. And it was in there for 4 days. And I went to pick up the truck so that I could get back out on the road a couple of days ago. And they said, yeah, we took it on a 100-mile ride and we couldn't find any oil leak. Couldn't find anything wrong with it at all. When you brought it on and when you brought it in, it was a little bit low, but in oil. But we couldn't find anything wrong. Within a couple of minutes, I found like 2 oil leaks and pointed out to the mechanic. So they ended up taking the truck back in, and now I guess it's done now, and I'll hopefully be rolling within the next day or two. So, all right. So let me see here. I'm missing some comments as I'm talking about this stuff. Yes, company drivers do drive once in a while when they feel like it. You have voice to text. All right. Well, tell Siri I said hi. I hear chickens. You don't hear chickens. I tell you what you do probably hear. You probably hear some people cackling off the screen over this direction. But, who sold you that junk Mac anyway? DIY. Don't be talking about my Mac like that. You didn't sell it to me anyway. But no, I know DIY. He actually helped me get the Mac originally, but he didn't sell it to me. But he helped me find it. He's a good guy. He likes to pick on people though. It's not a junk Mac. That's sacrilegious right there. No. All right. So Old Hick. I almost stayed on the return flight, but the truck boss was there to get me. Basically saying we directly went to the test drive. So he's flying into that bay, 32 degrees below zero in Alaska, and he's going to do a test drive, I guess, for this company that he's going to drive for, just coming out of the military, thinking he knows everything about trucks. So I see where he's heading with this story. This is going to be interesting. So, yeah. You know what? I think you have a Mac, don't you, DIY? Yeah. He's secretly a Mac lover, and he doesn't tell anybody that, guys. You heard it here first. He loves Macs. He does. Sorry. So where was I? Old Dick was telling the story about Alaska, which, to catch you up, I think I already did that. So I don't need to do that again. So right now we're up to 7 people watching, which is impressive that there's 7 people out there that would actually look at me. So, and talk about stuff, and listen to me pick on myself and joke around with people. I appreciate y'all coming in, definitely. Old Hick has got a little bit more of the story to tell us. You have anything else you want to say, F8 or DIY? You want to mess with me? Go ahead. Come on, do this. This is my chance to buy back all those times I heard you guys picking on me when I wasn't on there. So Old Hick says the truck was a 1964 Pete, but it had 2 sticks. Never driven anything but a 9-speed, but I wasn't about to tell him that. Yeah. That's kind of the same thing as I was saying earlier. You get thrown into a situation not really being trained, and you have to learn all of that stuff. DIY says I'm trading in my one of the last 2 Macs next week for a real truck. #Freightliner. Hashtag not. If you okay, this is I drive a Freightliner as a company driver, and I have a Mac, so I can actually compare those two very honestly. Freightliner better on fuel, which is very important, but as a company driver, it doesn't matter as much. Much more comfortable inside, has more toys, very much. Shakes more than anything I could ever imagine. The ride is horrible. And my Mac, everything's stable, straight, feels like I'm driving a Cadillac down the road. And a Freightliner, you're driving down the road. So you can be hashtag Freightliner all you want, but real men drive manual transmissions. Hey, I got my CDL on a manual. That doesn't mean I am good at it. Okay? I've been driving automatics ever since. It's been a long time. So real men don't pick on other men's transmissions. What?
I've learned how to drive a step outside.
Yeah. Sorry. You weren't in here earlier. My wife and my daughter are helping me get through the comments in case I don't get to see them all. So I'm trading in. I already read that. Yeah, your real men comment. DIY. So I fumble around and I get started, and it becomes obvious that I have no clue. Yeah. Yeah, I've been in that situation. No names mentioned, but I've been in that situation where, yeah, I fumbled around and really had no clue. And you either figure it out or you don't. But let's find out where your story goes from here. But I guess in the military they only taught you a 9-speed. So, and yes, DIY. I did actually get my CDL driving a manual transmission. I know that's hard to believe. So. So, I also drove. Here's a little trivia that you'll never need to know and no one will ever ask you. Yeah, driving with John, me, learned on a manual transmission, and my first company was a flatbed company. Woo! Bet you didn't know that, did you? No. So, back in the Reaper game now, though. So we're up to actually hit the whole hour mark. Holy moly! I'm on for a whole hour with at least 4 people the whole time, up to 7 at one point. So I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching. This has been really awesome. And just waiting for the rest of the story from Old Hick, so he can tell me what happened up there in Alaska. So I'm intrigued by that because I was telling him earlier. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but I was telling him, obviously, if you were on, you heard it. That's stupid. But if you weren't on yet, I was telling him that I recently turned on Ice Road Truckers, which is something I've never really watched. I watched Highway to Hell a few times. I don't know if I can say that on here, but I did. That show is pretty cool too. But Ice Road Truckers is pretty awesome, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that they drive across the ice like that. So DIY says, "Your beard looks awesome. You're so cool. All the kids are copying you." Well, thank you, DIY. I really appreciate that. Don't make it so easy. But so did you quit the vape? What vape? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't know anything about a vape. That's the first time in an hour. You'd be proud of me. So I don't know what you're talking about with this vaping thing that you speak of. But I know. You just wish you had a cool beard like I do. Like all the cool cats do. I know. I'll be honest, I don't like having a beard. I'm just extremely lazy and I've been way too busy to take care of that. So, oh, there it is. Hey, I'm doing pretty good. It was a whole hour before I even did that. So, but I don't know why that's a thing. Picking on me because I vape. You're digging deep, aren't you? You still have vape trauma. Oh, that sounds like a you issue. You have flashbacks and tremors to wake up in the middle of the night. Ah, John's vaping. Ah. Don't make it so easy, DIY. I can dish it. I've seen you dish it out on here too. So this is my opportunity. I can do that. I'm afraid to bring you on though, because if I brought you on, I'm pretty sure you would talk me into a hole. So you know, I'm better than Landstar. I wouldn't know. I've never worked for either one, as far as I know. As far as the world knows, never worked for either one. But I actually would agree with that 1,000%. If I ever drove for you, or if I ever drove for Landstar, I would say you would definitely be better. But I wouldn't. I can't say that because I've never driven for either one. Like I said earlier, I don't talk about who I drive for or how much money I make. So, but if I had ever driven for you, and if I had ever driven for Landstar, you would definitely be better. Now you can go pat yourself on the back. Your head's probably swollen up as we speak, and you better be careful. You might not fit out that office door. So, um, now you made me forget what I was saying. Stop messing with me. My brain doesn't work that many different ways. I'm very talking about something, and you got me off the subject. Now I don't remember what it was. So, wow, I can't believe my first live actually went a whole hour. This is crazy. So Old X typing in the rest of his story here. Maybe that was the rest of his story. Old X, is that the rest of your story? It became obvious that you didn't have a clue on how to drive something with two shifters. So, oh, there's DIY again. All right, here we go. I'd rather inhale in an outhouse over an open sewer gate in the alley behind an Indian restaurant than be around another vape pen in my life. Oh, well, that's great, because I don't have a vape pen. I have a mod. But I agree, those vape pens, man, they are horrible. So, yeah, I see what you're saying there.
It's just like your neck is tough. Keep together.
I would pick on orange, but I'm not going to, because orange is kind of like untouchable. But but here you go. You want to see it again here? I'll give you nightmares tonight.
It's just like your neck is tough.
There you go. Now you have nightmares. You and your vape trauma. So yeah, actually vapes don't smell bad. You know, it's funny. I guess we're going to talk about this. So it's funny because you complained about, I guess it gave you a headache or whatever. But most people, I agree. Orange is a sacred color. Not going there. So instant headaches. Thanks. You're welcome. That's what happened. He was getting headaches from my vape. But most people, when they smell my vape, they're always like, wow, that smells really good. Because if you're not familiar with vaping, when you smoke, it stinks really bad. Everybody around you smells smoke. And you don't notice it because you become nose blind to it. When you start vaping, you start smelling the smoke and you realize how bad it's done. But vaping, I don't really smell the vape. But everybody around me is always like, wow, that smells really good. What is that? That smells really good. What is that? Except for DIY Semi. He goes, oh, I got a headache. I think the fumes bothered him. So, but that's fine. You know, to each their own. Some people have a weak ability to handle those kind of fumes. You know, real men don't. But you know, all right. So, what was I saying? So, I keep reading that comment, DIY. I need to get it off the screen. I'd rather inhale. I'm not going to read that one yet. Hang on. I'd rather inhale in an outhouse over an open sewer grate in an alley behind an Indian restaurant than be around another vape pen in my life. Okay. Now, orange is sacred. Yes, it's a headache. That butter flavor is the worst. Butter flavor? So you tasted it? You mean butter smell? It was what was that? I think that was called Pancake Man. I actually can't get that anymore. I don't think they make it. But yeah, Pancake Man. That's what it was way back then. Yeah, and you loved that. You were like, oh, I love Pancake Man. Can you blow it in my face again? I know that's what you did because you loved it. It was awesome. You just keep admiring my beard. Yeah, why? It's okay. No reason to hate. Okay, so for those of you that were actually watching for the last hour and 10 minutes, this has been a lot of fun. Old Hick, are you done with your story or? Oh, there he is. Never mind. Woo, here we go. He said, so he did teach me how to truck. I'm guessing his boss, and when he flew into the bay, when he realized he didn't know what he was doing, and it wasn't easy. I'm sure that couldn't. What? I'm sure. Okay, I lost my place here. Give me a second. I am sure that couldn't happen today. That's what I mean about frontier trucking. The rules to second place to wait, the rules to second place to getting the job done. Oh yeah, rules come in second place to getting the job done. I get it. Yeah. I win the chat. You win the chat, but I win the video. You missed the part. Read back. Oh, did I miss a part? Sorry. We were going back and forth with DIY. No, I did read that part. I said, so I fumbled around and got it started, and it became obvious that I had no clue. I did read that one. The truck was a 64 feet. Yeah, I read that one. All right, so I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to put this all together for you. All right, just so you can understand the whole story if you haven't been here the whole time. So when he was 25, Old Hick, he was in Anchorage, Alaska. Not when he was 25. What am I saying? It was 25 degrees in Anchorage, Alaska. When he got off the plane in, okay, I'm going to attempt it one last time, Prudhoe Bay. I don't know how to say that. Sorry. But when he got off in the bay, it was 32 below and the winds were 20 miles an hour. Then he almost returned and got back on the flight. But the truck boss was there to get him, and so he had to go. And so they went to do the test drive. The truck was a 1964 Pete. But, excuse me, so I got some bugs. That's what happens in Florida in the wintertime. But it had 2 stacks, never been driven, but a 9-speed. Wait. 2 stacks, but he never driven anything but a 9-speed. I wasn't, and he wasn't about to tell the guy that he didn't know how to drive it. So I fumbled around and got started, and it became pretty obvious that he had no clue how to drive it. And then, so he did teach him how to drive the truck. The guy, his boss, I guess. It wasn't easy. So he's sure that wouldn't happen today. That's what he means by frontier trucking. That's what he said way earlier. He called it frontier trucking, and that's because getting the job came first and the rules came second. I'd say that's very true. Very true. So did I get that part? He said I missed a part. Read back. So I just went over the whole thing. Yeah, that's so true. That in today's world, the rules take first place and getting the job done second. Yeah, well, you're an old school trucker. You're up there in your years, probably what, 70, 80, 90 years old. You probably could definitely tell us, how different it is nowadays for us young folk compared to all you old folks. So, hi Don, how are you doing? Yeah, showing up a little late to the party. You're probably going to have to watch the replay. It's been an hour and 14 minutes. So, but there's some good conversations in there. So do you have any questions, Don, or anything you want to say? Welcome to the live stream. I really do appreciate you coming in. I do encourage lots of chit chat back and forth because I've had like 3 or 4 things I wanted to talk about. I got to talk about all of them already. So if you missed any of that, you're gonna have to definitely watch it on the replay. So um, my night's just beginning. Going to work now. Oh, okay. Are you a driver? Going to work. Wow. Going to work your nighttime. If you're a driver, you're a nighttime driver. So I hope you stay safe out there if you're driving. I don't even know if you're a driver, but I'm guessing that you are. So, all right, DIY. What's it say? These trucks are darn near RVs now. Yeah, actually, that's so true. It's so true. That's the difference between. I mean, that's my Mac doesn't have all the great things that a Cascadia would have in it. I get that, but it just feels different. Like when you're pulling a hill, the Cascadia it'll pull the hill, and you can get the job done. But the Mac, it just it's like brushes you off. It's no problem. I got this done. You're done. So that's why I favor the Mac. I just love the way it pulls and how smooth it feels, like a Cadillac on the highway. So, oh, you're a driver. Okay, all right. Oh, basically, you just jumped in. It's a mixture of DIY semi messing with me, and Old Hick telling me a story about when he used to work in Alaska after he got out of the army. So that's what you missed so far. But there's a lot of other conversations back at the beginning. All right, guys. Anybody else have any questions, comments? You want to tell me how much you hate me? Because I think it's been an hour and 16 minutes. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. But I think it's almost time. So, anybody else have anything else they want to say out there? Did we finish? Okay. Do you know the difference between a fairy tale and a trucker's story? I could venture to guess, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, what is it? My guess is probably wouldn't be YouTube appropriate either. So hopefully that's not where we're leading right now. Be careful, Dick. Don't get me in trouble on my first live stream ever. DIY, do you know the answer to that? The difference between a fairy tale and a trucker story? I mean, you might know a lot about fairy tales and you might know a lot about trucker stories. So. Is that bug zapper indoors? No, that bug zapper is outdoors because I'm outside right now. I know you're jealous because where you live, you can't be hanging out this time of year. But where I live, it's nice out here. Probably I got like 3 foot of snow up there, 4 foot, 12 foot. I don't have that problem. If you don't if you hear, yeah, it's the bug zappers. I forgot to mention that earlier. You have chicken noises coming from that direction. Not so much this time of night, but if you heard them, they'd be over that way. You got bug zappers. The story with the bug zappers is I have a screened-in patio, and when the hurricanes came through, they ripped the screens out of my patio. Still working with the insurance company to get that fixed. So until that happens, we have bug zappers and spray. We spend a lot of time outside, so it must be freezing outside down there. Yeah, so cold. Whew, man, so cold I'm sweating. But that's the story why you hear bug zappers, because like I said, there was 2 hurricanes that went through this area. That one, the high went right over my house. It was really crazy. But yeah, it tore all the screens out of my screen-in patio. So we have to do a bug zappers and bug spray until the insurance companies get their butts in gear. So I'm pretty sure the hurricanes is something you have to worry about, right, DIY? You got to hate those real big windy storms that you have up there. All the way up there, way, 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 way up there. A fairy tale begins with once upon a time. A trucker story begins and hey, this here is no poopy. Yeah, I almost said the word. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, that's true. That is the difference between a fairy tale and a trucker story. So you can keep your snakes and gators. It's funny. As long as I've lived in a tropical area, I have not seen that many snakes, and the gators are more afraid of me than I am of them. They're more afraid of me than I am of them. So I'll take chances with bears and wolves. See, now bears and wolves are scary. I mean, they can actually come into your house. Snakes and gators ain't getting in my house. So, but then again, where I live, there's some crazy stories that happen. You know what I mean? You know, people dancing with gators and pet snakes. They have all kinds of weird people down there. Huh? Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got one time for one more story, and then I'm probably gonna have to cut this off. But since he brought up gators, I'll tell you a little story. So it's apparent, obviously, I live in Florida. You don't know where in Florida, I'm not going to tell you, but I do live in Florida. So a couple years ago, there was a robbery on the west coast of Florida, and it was at a Wendy's. And a guy was on his way to Wendy's to get some food, and along the way, he sees a alligator. I'd say a juvenile, um, probably about maybe 2 feet long. Wasn't very long. Picked him up, put him in his car on his way to Wendy's. Gets to Wendy's. He robbed the Wendy's using the gator as the weapon. And now in Florida, they have robbery by gator is actually a crime. So there you go. There's your story. Crazy people in Florida. Got to go walk the livestock, buddy. Been fun talking with you. Yeah, no problem. I was actually about ready to cut it short anyway, but yeah, it's been great. Thank you for coming on, Old Dick. I'll see you on the next live. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'll see you then. And I thank you guys for subscribing and watching my channel. I really do appreciate the support. So, do you have anything else you want to say, DIY? Anything you want to pick on me? Well, one last before I go? Nah, I didn't think so. Nah, you're just going to let me win. I appreciate that. So, hey, F8, you drive safely. I know you're listening. Stay safe out there, and thanks for watching, listening. I appreciate it. And everybody that's on, just thanks for watching. And, go back and watch the replay like 16 times. I'd really appreciate it. Disclose people. Can you help me out? Hey, y'all have a good rest of your night. Thanks for watching.